Yeah, so every application can build its own widgets that becomes available. So there are some things that are natively available, which are for applications that are already there. But then every application, when they build, they can build a widget for themselves. And that can be, it's up to the application developer to decide what is the widget they want to build. So like in case of emails, it will be just a short list of email. And when I click on it, it will take you to the application itself. So like here, right? So when I click on an email, it will take me to the email. It's just a launch point and a quick view so that you can consume the content even without having to launch the application manually. And that will redirect you to the application.
And Preet mentioned this has encryption.
Yes, this has inbuilt device encryption.
What does it mean when you say inbuilt device encryption?
So all content that you store, right, will be encrypted by the device itself. So you don't have to worry about you don't have to, as a user, worry about where is the data getting stored, how the data is getting stored. And also the application developers do not have to, they may encrypt it additionally, but they don't have to kind of necessarily do it always. So that is one.
Is this more important in a corporate or a work use case, or even home users will be worried about this?
Yes, they will be, because all your photos, your videos, your contacts, I think, is encrypted. So, but yeah, I think anything that gets stored on the SD card or as a file, right? So that's where the impact is visible. So this would encrypt the SD card, any content on the SD card as well. So you could be rest assured that in case your device is stolen, nobody can just take out the SD card and put it onto a different device, and the content will not be, you can't get the content directly on another device.
Is there a tool where we can take a backup of the data?
So you can, so what Samsung has what is called Samsung Keys, which is a desktop application where you can back up all your content if required, and also you can just copy over. But yeah, I think and there are enough third-party applications which let you do.
The backup is the part which is very missing.
Okay.
Nothing like iTunes and nobody can back up everything.
Yeah, it's not as well developed as iTunes, but the equivalent of what Samsung themselves provide is what is called Samsung Keys. So it does back up your photos and other things. It's a desktop backup mechanism to your desktop. So.
Only the music player part is missing. Otherwise, it's pretty much equivalent.
Okay. From a music, okay, from iTunes perspective.
Only people use iTunes for the music player.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Keys also syncs up your music. So if you have a couple of music in your machine,
Mm-hmm.
and you sync up your tablet or your phone, it syncs up the music as well. So I think that is there.
Okay.
What probably is missing is that you can't
Market
buy
store,
music,
yeah. So
and the whole buying music, which probably is not there in India anyway.
yeah, good point. Yeah. So.
I'm not sure how many of us actually buy music.
Yeah,
For
I think
people
good
who have used keys, how did you find the performance? Because I had used a version which was a little old, and that's where I had struggled.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst syncing software that you would use. So you can't really run it all the time.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge I had faced. Anyway, so that's a segue into iPad. Initial reaction wise, again, very similar to what Vinny described. You take it out of the box, it feels like a good machine. I had used it, sorry.
So this is a Wi-Fi only tablet. It starts with $499, about I think 28,000 odd in India. So that's what. And there are upgrades available. So this one is a Wi-Fi 16 GB. So then you have more storage that you can add, and then that all the 3G ones which make it slightly more expensive.
Both are fairly competitively priced. You'll see similar price points for similar capabilities. Primarily, they're different versions, primarily vary based on how much disk space they have, and the price points are more or less similar across both of those.
So that one is again $499.
That one, this again
US,
is $499 in US. So yeah, so I had used the iPad earlier, and this was an iPad 2. As soon as I took it out, it's the first thing you notice is how light it is compared to the iPad. But once you start it, again you see a good nice screen. It took me through some very basic steps, got me connected to a Wi-Fi, which was good, asked me for my iTunes account, which I had, so the setup was almost a breeze, and I was up and running in no time at all. Browsing and navigation, especially given that I was familiar with the iOS paradigm, was something which I understood very well. There is a home screen, and you see all kinds of apps over there. I think someone had a question about folders. It lets you create folders. I personally like that as the treatment which iOS has given to folders very much. The whole visual aspect of what is inside a folder is something which you don't see on other platforms. So browsing and navigation was easy. Again, just like Vineet, the first thing I wanted to do was set up my email as soon as I had it, and I wanted to set up my corporate email as well as my personal Gmail. Gmail is what I use. Again, the setup was easy. You go to the settings. There is a tab for mails, configuration, and so on. It lets you configure your mail, calendar, contacts, reminders, everything from one place itself. Once you try to add an account, again, the experience is fairly easy. It lets you decide what you want to configure. That if it's corporate exchange that you want to configure, you go and do that. If it's Gmail, Yahoo, it lets you do all those things in a fairly easy manner. Pretty much all you need to configure then is your user ID and password, and you are up and going. One thing which I have found not many people know, and that's especially useful for people who have iPhone more than the tablet. If you use Gmail, the default mode to try and configure usually is that you will go in, you go in and you pick Gmail, but this doesn't sync your contacts. So it's possible to set up your Gmail as a Microsoft Exchange account. If someone has questions, I can help, or you can easily find it on the web. And it's possible to set up Gmail as a Microsoft Exchange account. And when you do that, you get your mail, calendar, contacts, everything like you would get your corporate mail. And the experience then is particularly seamless. You get everything in one place. You get all your mailboxes. Again, a similar view as you saw on the Samsung tab as well, the fragmented view. Apple really started this. So I think they have been fairly good in this. You can go and look at one particular mailbox, or you can go and look at all your mails in one place itself. So that was about mail setup. iTunes, again, we were talking about it a little earlier. I think it's a very good software, has been around for a while. It's very easy to sync your music, apps, photos, whatever you want to, especially if you have multiple devices on the same platform. It's even more useful. I use an iPhone as well, so all my music I was able to easily transfer it onto the iPad. And the last point which I wanted to bring up was, again, not so much an initial experience, but once you start using this device, and start kind of sharing it with others in the family, you find it's very easy to pick up for even non-technical folks. My daughter, my parents, everyone loves the iPad. That tells me something about the simplicity and the charm of this application.
So some apps like this Samsung Hub, that makes sense. So do we have some app like this where you have consolidated view of all your sources?
No, so you don't have that. In fact, one of the issues for people who use Facebook a lot is there's no good Facebook app for the iPad. There's a very good Facebook iPhone app, but there's the good Facebook app is missing for the iPad. Having said that, I was going to talk about a couple of hidden gems, and in this iPad or the latest version, Apple has done a phenomenal job of Twitter integration. And personally, I use Twitter much more than Facebook, and I find that aspect very, very useful. It's almost like native integration into the OS itself. Once you set up your Twitter account, you can use it across applications wherever you want to tweet something from. Folders, again, we have talked about already. The Indian magazines, with this OS, they have released the newsstand, and the Indian magazines are available. Quite a few, good collection, at least everything from the India Today family and a few others as well, which personally I have liked, and my parents like it, and so on. So that we'll talk more about it, but the content aspect is again something where iPad starts becoming very, very useful.
It looks like both the devices are very easy to set up, and you can start enjoying them in minutes rather than hours. So we'd like to take a quick poll. Given a choice, which one of these devices would you buy today? Let's raise a hand. Let's raise hand for iPad 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and the rest can we assume is all Galaxy? All right, cool. So hold on to that thought, and at the end of this session, we'll take a similar poll, and we'll have a raise of hands for folks who have decided to change their mind.